Memories from Mom by Barbara A. Donovan, illustrated by Nancy Pelham Folk. Page 3. The Perfect Present. A silver of moon shone like a polished silver earring in the night sky. Adelita rolled over in bed so she no longer saw it. She felt miserable. For 3 weeks, Adelita had carried groceries for the neighbors, run errands, and walked dogs to earn money. But when she counted all her earrings, she had only $12.23, not enough to buy a really nice present for her mom's birthday, and it was only 1 week away. So instead of sleeping peacefully and dreaming of wonderful adventures, Adelita was awake in bed. She knew that her mother's present had to be special, but what could she buy with so little money? Finally, Adelita fell asleep, but even in her dreams, she kept thinking about Mom's birthday. Page 4. In school the next day, Adelita couldn't think about her work. She didn't raise her hand even once. During math, she answered every question wrong. And in social studies, Adelita forgot that George Washington was the first president of the United States. Adelita, what's wrong with you today? Consuelo whispered. You're usually the one who knows the answers to everything. Adelita just shrugged. I'm your best friend, Consuelo insisted. You have to tell me what's going on. I'll tell you at lunch, promised Adelita, but I don't think you'll be able to help me. Page 5. At lunch, both girls opened their lunch bags and pulled out sandwiches. Taped to the bottom of Adelita's sandwich bag was a note. Te amo, it said. I love you. It was signed Mom. Adelita read the note and handed it to Consuelo. That's my problem, Adelita said sadly. Consuelo read the note. She looked confused. Your problem is that you have a mom who loves you? She asked. No, said Adelita. My problem is that Mom has a birthday coming up. We're having a big fiesta. I have only a few dollars, but I really want to give her a special gift. Adelita stared at the note her mother had written her. Mom always makes everyone else's birthday so special. I don't want her to be disappointed. Page 6. Consuelo thought for a few moments and then said, The best present I ever gave my mom was my baby picture in a little tin frame from Mexico. I thought she would like the frame, but she liked the picture the best. A baby picture? Asked Adelita. Why? Consuelo explained. Mom said it brought back special memories. I know she likes it, because she keeps it on her desk where she works. She says that way she can see it every day. Murmured Adelita. Page 7. That afternoon, Adelita figured out the perfect gift. Her present would be a lot of work, but it would be worth the effort. Aunt Lupe picked up Adelita from school. Adelita knew that her mom's sister was the best person to ask about her idea. Lupe was always telling stories and taking pictures. Tia, Lupe, I need your help, Adelita cried. In the car on the way to Lupe's house, Adelita outlined her plan. I'm going to make a book for Mom's birthday. It'll be full of pictures and stories about Mom and you and Dad and me. It'll be a book of recuerdos de familia, family memories. Lupe smiled. That's a great idea, and I know just how I can help you. Page 8. Looking back. At Lupe's house, Adelita and her aunt went straight to the back room. Lupe opened a beautiful leather trunk. One by one, she handed Adelita picture albums and scrapbooks. Each book was filled with pictures of Adelita's family. Some pictures were taken long before Adelita was born. Adelita pointed to one of these. Isn't this Mom in the rowboat? Adelita asked. Si, said Lupe. Now there's a funny story. Adelita already knew the story, but she said, Dime, tia, tell me again. That girl with your mum is Soledad. Soledad and your mother were very best friends. The two of them and I went camping one summer with Soledad's parents and your grandparents. Soledad and your mom were about your age. On the first day at the lake, your grandfather rowed your mom and Soledad around the lake. They had never been in a boat before. I remember hearing them shout and laugh as your grandfather rowed. Page 10. The next morning, Tia Lupe continued, your mom and Soledad got up really early and snuck down to the lake. They were trying to be quiet, but I heard them. I followed them to make sure they were safe. I still had my camera in my pocket from the day before. They already had on their life jackets and they were on their way to the dock. Lupe laughed as she remembered the next part of the story. They got in the rowboat. It tipped and rocked, so they both almost fell in. Your mom lost one oar and then the other. They got soaked fishing the oars out of the water. Your mom finally got both oars under control. She rowed really hard, but the boat jerked to a stop. Your mom and Soledad both slid off their seats. They had forgotten to untie the boat from the dock. Page 11. More memories. Adelita and Tia Lupe chuckled. Then they dug into the trunk some more, past old newspapers and children's drawings. At the very bottom of the trunk, they found a stack of award ribbons and more photographs. Adelita pulled out a picture of her mother holding a blue ribbon. Lupe explained that Adelita's mother had won the ribbon at a pet show. We had a dog back then, Lupe said sadly. Ay, how your mom loved that mutt. Tia Lupe sat back on the box she was using as a chair. Page 13. Every spring on the Cinco de Mayo holiday, Lupe began. There was a pet show in the park near our house in El Paso. That year, your mom decided that Poco, her dog, would win. You see, every year before that, your mother had wanted to enter him, but every year Poco had been a dirty mess on the day of the show. That dog was a dirt magnet. Lupe fingered the old photo. That year, though, your mom washed Poco and brushed him. She even sprayed him with perfume and tied a red bandana around his neck. She tied his leash to her wrist and made sure that he didn't get dirty again. I don't know who was more proud of the way he looked, Poco or your mamacita. Poco died a few years later. Your mom never wanted another dog. Lupe gave the photo back to Adelita, who looked at it closely. So many things had happened to her mother as a girl that she didn't know about. Page 14. Making the gift. When Adelita's dad picked her up that night, she carried a bag filled with pictures and other memories. On the way home in the car, Adelita explained her plan. After supper, Adelita rushed to her room. She spread the pictures and other items on her floor. She taped each item to some heavy paper. Then she wrote the story about each one. A knock on Adelita's door startled her. Page 15. I have some things for your book, whispered Adelita's dad as he entered the room. He was clutching some papers. Her father unfolded the papers he was holding. They were letters. Did you know that I was away in the National Guard when you were born? He asked. Adelita shook her head. I couldn't get home to see you. Your mother wrote to tell me all about you. She sent me this picture. You were only 1 day old. Her father held out a picture. It was crumpled on the edges. I looked at this picture every day, every chance I got. It was months before I got to see you in person. Page 16. Adelita added the picture and letters to her book. Every day for the rest of the week, in her spare time, she worked on her gift. The day before her mother's birthday, Adelita counted her money. At the print shop near her aunt's house, Mr. Travis, the owner, helped Adelita make a cover for her book. Then he put the book in a special machine that made a binding to hold all the pages together. She had just enough money to pay Mr. Travis. At her birthday fiesta, Mom opened many gifts. When she unwrapped Adelita's present, she gasped, turning each page carefully. She couldn't speak for a moment. Then she said, "I can see you've been talking to Lupe and your dad." She laughed, and tears were shining in her eyes. Adelita could see that her mother liked the gift, but only later did she find out how special her mom thought the book was. From that day on, her mom kept Adelita's book on her dresser, where she looked at it every night. The end.